Berk, co-CEO of Aptitude, broadcasting from the second day of Inbound. I'm excited to also have my colleague here. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, all. Great to see everybody. Byler, I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here at Aptitude.
So awesome. So today we're going to talk about what is the future of AI over the next 18 months. And, this is a topic I think everyone's talking about. But here's the funny thing about the topic. I don't necessarily think AI is going to be the buzzword we think of it now. I think it's going to be...
that?
Well, I think what's going to happen, do we ever talk about how there's an internet CRM? I need an internet CRM. No, like 10, 15 years ago, it'd be like, oh, I want the internet-based CRM. Nowadays, you simply say, I want a CRM. And I think what's going to end up happening, you're not going to say, I need AI lead scoring, I need AI segmentation, I need AI enrichment. No, I need lead scoring, I need segmentation, I need enrichment. And we're going to be dropping the word AI, but we all know what's powering this are these large language models behind the scenes.
Correct.
And that's just kind of where I think your things are going, at least in the terminology nomenclature for this. But what are your thoughts, Cedar?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to become normal, right? I think that's a big thing. I mean, we've had AI as it extends in the current iteration. Well, over 2 years, I guess. Is year 3, I guess?
It's year 3 at this point.
3.5 maybe. And it was very revolutionary, very disruptive at first, but it's starting to become more common. It was like you were an early adopter, people were experimenting. Most people I know and talk to in business and personally and professionally are using AI at least to some level in their lives. And as Noah said, it's going to get that we saw these emergence of point solutions, AI here, there. It's getting built back into the tools we know and love today. And that's in line with a lot of the products, released that we saw here today at Inbound is, AI, HubSpot is becoming AI. It's not like you're putting AI in it. We're not adding AI to like a recipe in soup or something, right? Like it's just using the smart CRM.
Yeah, and I think Karen Ng put it best in her keynote speech where it's like, hey, you can put a rocket engine to a horse and buggy and it'll go faster, but eventually will break. So I actually think a lot of the future of AI is building the underlying foundation of your systems to really be able to benefit and support from it, which is something that really cool HubSpot's been working on in order to enable AI to be more efficient for you. Which brings us to our next thing. In my worldview of where AI is AI is up here in terms of what its capabilities are, but what people are doing is still down here. The real opportunity is closing this gap between where AI is and what people are leveraging it.
Yeah.
And I mean, as we see the products coming out, for example, like the data agent, the enrichment, what do you think about these agents and how people are going to be using those in the future over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, I'm excited about agents. I mean, they've been out for a little while. I think they got a good facelift. Other ecosystems are exploring them as well. I think it was Kip Bodnar yesterday. He said, what the paradigm shift business owners need to make is, it's not, I'm using an agent for this, I'm using an agent, and stop thinking about it as like a tool or another tool, and start thinking about agents as just another teammate. It's my virtual teammate. Give him a cute name. I don't know, Wally or something like that. But, I think that's how we're going to start to use these agents. They're going to become part of our teams, part of our workforces, and potentially, we talk about the debate a year ago, was, is it going to replace humans? Is it going to... Not really. It's going to supplement humans. And I think there, potentially you will be able to deploy one or more, maybe a series of these agentic workflows instead of hiring a person to do that specific workflow. But that same human can now, add, update, subtract, and modify those AI workflows.
Yeah, and it's actually really interesting what you said there. Talking to a client the other day, and he's like, what I really want? Because I always ask the question, the why. Why are you doing this in the first place? Well, they want to use AI as a force multiplier. He's like, listen, we have roughly 300 sales reps on our team right now. I would love to have 900, but that is out of the question in terms of expense. What if I could 3x my sales team and they could just focus on selling? So what does that mean? Having a prospecting agent is automatically reaching out to the customers. Having a data agent that's automatically appending data and looking for intent signals that can be used in marketing campaigns. Having a service agent or another agent that's handling all your inquiries, a knowledge-based agent that's growing based on what people are coming and asking about. And I really ultimately think this is kind of the future. It's not one AI, it's individual points, it's individual types of use cases for AI. And the organizations that are going to succeed are the ones that know how to leverage each and every one of these to its optimal potential.
Yeah. And I think we saw, you related to that, the marketplace, right?
Yes.
AI was here, it was there, it was over there. HubSpot has long had an excellent app marketplace for app partners. And I think, to your point, what do people really want? We wanted that, but for AI, right? For AI. It exists now. And so we saw, yesterday, with Product Spotlight is this concept of like an agentic, kind of marketplace where you can go in there and find apps, apps, maybe we call it apps, I don't know, agents that are appropriate for your business, one or more, a series of them, and turn them on and enable them on your account. So it takes away the ability, to customize them, build them. So as a vendor partner, I'm excited to see where I predict in the future, Noah, there will be, a series of app partners that are just building these custom agentic workflows and these agents for us. And there'll be a whole series of businesses that don't yet exist that are just building these, much like we have the app partners today.
Yeah, well, another word I think was tossed around it, this inbound is, we've heard of the word RevOps. AI ops is a fascinating word.
Sure.
Individuals who know how to leverage and how to deploy it for their organization so they enable the organization. At Aptitude 8, we talk about AI. We talk about putting the oxygen mask on ourselves first before putting them on our clients, partly because you should be skilled if you are implementing AI, how to use it effectively yourself.
Right.
Otherwise, you have no business helping others use it.
True.
And I think the concept of an AI ops person, and that person is not just strictly AI, they're looking at how it interacts with all their systems and people. So it's a combination of enablement, it's a combination of the systems and how they integrate, and the data. That's when an AI ops person is going to come in. How do you see that helping to morph organizations?
Yeah, you were humble there, Noah, I guess, but in your defense, I would say, or your support, I think today's leadership team has done a good job of making AI a priority, right? And I was talking a little bit about this on a different podcast yesterday. So many companies nowadays are saying like what your employees can't use AI for. Don't use AI for this, or don't upload this data to AI or to the bot, etc. And surprisingly few companies are telling and sharing with their employees what to use AI for, right? And I think taking a stance of the company, hey, here's how we're going to use AI. These are the places we're going to use it. Here's how it's going to help you. Here's how it's going to be a time saver. What's in it for you? I think a lot of companies are missing that, like draft a state, put it together an SOP, like a charter for the organization, and talk about it at a leadership level, make sure employees have clarity and autonomy and how they could be benefiting from it.
Well, another key here is any AI initiative needs to be led by the executive team, and more importantly, who's ever running the company. If I was to say, hey guys, we're going to use AI, but I don't personally use it, that's an issue.
Sure.
You literally have to be driving as an organization. Now, a lot of this is kind of out there. It's sometimes hard for people to grasp what it is. My recommendation always is start simple. Find one particular use case and say, how can they use it to solve for X? Focus on that, build the knowledge base, build the expertise of how you solve that particular use case, and then start looking at how else can we deploy it.
Right.
And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is like, how do we deploy it? So when you look at the HubSpot ecosystem, you look at all these agents, don't try and do it all at once.
Yeah.
Pick one use case and try that first.
Yeah, I was at dinner a few weeks ago with some revenue leaders, actually, Noah, and SVP of a publicly traded company. We were all talking about our favorite AI use cases, and he said, I've never used AI. The whole table stopped eating and looked at him like he had three heads. Like, what do you mean? Like, never? Not only like, I've never needed to. And the rest of the dinner conversation was basically just converting him and giving him, it felt like dozens of use cases of how a revenue leader could be and should be using these. He was like, I think my team is, and man, not to pick on him, he's a friend of mine, but I think that gap in leadership could be really, really detrimental to companies. And I understand he's using it now and he's seen the light. But we've just had so much benefit in the last 3 years. It was hard to fathom.
The other big thing about AI that's going to be relevant is extremely important. It's going to come down to data.
Yeah.
They talked about, especially at this inbound, structured versus unstructured data.
What does that mean, Noah?
Well, a structured data is, imagine just simply going ahead and you update your property field and you have that data very well organized. You're able to change whatever you want to be able to look at, move into a particular deal stage. Your unstructured data is like stuff coming out of email, stuff coming out of call recordings, stuff that just is simply out there.
Attachments and those kind of things?
It can be attachments. It's stuff that's not necessarily fit into an easy box, such as, is this a customer, not customer type box under a property field?
And I suspect that data is stored differently, like in the architecture.
It is stored differently. So the future of AI, and one of the things is actually taking all those call recordings, taking all those emails, taking all those Slacks, taking all that data and actually be able to leverage it, whatever it may be. So let's say you want to summarize a deal. Well, you're not just going to simply summarize a deal by going through and see what deal stage is in, how many different conversations, emails you've had, how many different calls have taken place. That's your structured data. Instead, your unstructured data is starting to look at the email itself, looking at the conversation itself, looking at the call recording. That's where 80% of your data is, and that ends up becoming gold. AI does two things in this regard. One, it extracts that data and puts it into a structured format for if you want to move things along. But two, AI also enables you to act on unstructured data to identify things. So a great example would be like, let's say an out of office. You want to be able to capture where you're sending out these emails, out of office replies. It's coming back to some unstructured data. It's then going in there, pulling out of office and then updating your property field for you. And then updating the workflow so it doesn't send another email while they're out of office and then adjust when that next email gets sent.
Fair.
A very kind of simple use case. And when we talked about earlier at the top of this, how AI is going to be dropped from the word that we use on a regular basis,
right.
It's just going to be part of your smart CRM.
Yeah, I agree. I think the packaging around smart CRM is really smart. Pun intended. But no, it's nice to see, again, AI was in various places, kind of a little bit disparate. It's truly baked into the human workflows. You are just going to be doing your job. And that's it.
That's it.
What I was really, and a lot of things I'm excited about, but as a revenue leader yesterday, what Karen was demonstrating, the ability for a sales rep to, quickly pull up their ICP list, have it auto-enriched, right? Emails automatically generated, targeted and customized to that ICP, and potentially send automated. I mean, that's got to cut prospecting down in half, a third, fifth.
Well, I think oftentimes people tend to forget. Imagine you're doing work and you're in a linear. Maybe you're doing this amount of work right now because that's all the time you have.
Yeah.
But you need to be doing all these other activities. We just simply don't have the people to do it.
Yep.
AI, we go back to the concept, it's really complementing people. It's like a hybrid environment. Essentially, it's like you're adding all these additional employees to do things that you want to get done,
right,
but couldn't get done. You did not have the time to go through and search intent data to find every single project your customers are working on so you can send a customized email. You didn't have time to go through every email, personalize each and every one individually to 1,000 people, and therefore you're sending, it's a great email out, but it's the same message to every single person. What AI is doing is enabling you to augment and expand upon and do the things that you would love to do, but honestly, you don't have enough time in the day to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the great advantages of AI is the ability to do all these wonderful things that will help you drive more revenue. And then this comes back to the key. You have to start leveraging it.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of theme here is the concept, do more with less, right?
Do more with less.
It will allow your existing team members to become more efficient, more effective, and move faster. And I think that for me, that's probably the big takeaway we've been about so far.
Awesome. Well, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure broadcasting from HubSpot Inbound Day 2. Hopefully you enjoyed today's content and definitely check out our other content. Thank you.